Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Amasid and today we're going to do a very different video than what we're used to doing. So as you're aware, Path of Exile is my main game. Path of Exile is the game that will continue to be my main game. But with all of the D2 Tech Alpha hype going out there for D2 Resurrected, I actually received a key today actually, and I've been playing through it just a bit. I didn't have a ton of time to play, unfortunately, and unfortunately my access ends tomorrow. But I wanted to just give my take on it as someone who is not a D2 fanatic, in the sense that I've played through Diablo 2 before, just at the most base level. I don't have hundreds and hundreds of hours in it like a lot of people who are in this genre. So I thought it might be interesting for you all to hear sort of my take on it from the perspective of somebody who, you know, has no nostalgia factor for it. It's purely a game for me, and it's a game in the genre, and I can absolutely appreciate it as sort of the bedrock for the genre as a whole. So I thought I'd kind of give my take on sort of the D2 Resurrected Alpha, what I think's working, what I think's not working, and just sort of plans going forward. So let's without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. So the first thing is that you're immediately given this character select screen, and you're told that you can toggle back and forth. And I think the toggling between the legacy view of what the game looks like before, when I've played it, and I'm sure many of you have played it, versus what it looks like now, is just an incredibly powerful feature. And frankly, it's one of the coolest parts of Resurrected, is being able to see what it looked like, you know, in the prior version of the game, and just toggle back and forth seamlessly between that. It's not clunky at all to toggle back and forth. In the case of this video, you'll probably see me toggling back and forth quite a few times, just because it's so cool, just to watch it go and like see the difference in graphics, and the resolution changes seamlessly. That's a really cool feature for them to add. They didn't need to add it, and I think they did a really good job implementing that. So the gameplay feels relatively the same, and Diablo 2 obviously has great gameplay. It feels smooth. The combat feels smooth from an early level, which is something, you know, maybe in PoE that I know that Chris specifically addressed, that they want the game to feel good from level 1 all the way through the game. So they're working on that for PoE 2. But Diablo 2 established that precedent, you know, 20 years ago when the game came out. So the game feels really good throughout. Graphically, Diablo 2 Resurrected, just in a pure graphical sense, is the best looking ARPG out there right now. When it comes out, it's gonna be simply the best until PoE 2, and then Diablo 4, who knows? But I think PoE 2. So what Diablo 2 Alpha is going to come out, or excuse me, Diablo 2 Resurrected is going to come out before PoE 2. But I think PoE 2 probably has slightly better graphics at the very least. I mean, Diablo 2 Resurrected looks beautiful, don't get me wrong, but so once that game comes out, it'll be the best in its market for graphics. Looks beautiful. Gameplay wise, so Diablo, so in its current state, right, it's coming out, they've made a few quality of life changes, things like auto pickup gold. That's really nice. A few other small ones here and there. The gold one was the biggest one to me, because I remember playing for the first time, and I actually played Diablo 3 before I played Diablo 2, and just the ability to auto pick up gold is something that's just, it doesn't really change the fundamental gameplay, and it's just a nice quality of life change. So I was glad to see that. But I think there's obviously some still improvements to be made, and unless I was missing it, there's no auto toggling of items, so it's always showing off until you hit Alt, and then it turns it on, then you release Alt and it turns off. I'd like to be able to see stuff like that. I think that there's room for Blizzard to come out with sort of, I think Zizaran mentioned this in a stream, of a Diablo Enhanced Edition and a Diablo sort of, I guess, Resurrected Edition, which is just an updated graphical view. And then the Enhanced Edition could have features, you know, features that they might not include otherwise, you know, maybe like enhanced end game or something like that. I mean, obviously there's the place of mods for stuff like that, but I'm just curious whether Blizzard wants to sort of take the game in a direction and build on it, or whether they just kind of want to update the graphics and call it a day. I totally understand the perspective of people just wanting to play the game as it is, just with newer graphics, and that's why I think that should take precedent over any kind of changes. But on the same note, I think there is room for Blizzard to say, hey, you know, let's make this kind of like branch it out. We can make 2 versions of the game. Again, this is a ton of work, but like, you know, one where they change things such as the keybind system, which the keybind system in Diablo 2, in my opinion, is lacking. It's really just the 2 buttons and then the potions, and I don't think there's any reason that couldn't be iterated on and improved. I think that, you know, Path of Exile doesn't have the best system for it. Diablo 3 doesn't have the best system for it, but they're better than Diablo 2 in my opinion in terms of the keybind system. So why not have an enhanced edition or enhanced features that you can toggle on and off? So if you want to play the game normally, you know, as it was 20 years ago, you can do it with the updated graphics, but you can also do it with sort of different changes. Again, in terms of leaderboards and things like that, that might make things complicated, but I think there is room to make these adjustments and split things out. So I think that would be a good start. In terms of mods, so I've played Project Diablo 2 with a friend, and Project Diablo 2 to me takes a lot of the sort of the features that are missing from normal Diablo 2 and adds them in. And I'm wondering where sort of mods are going to be in this world, because I know Blizzard had mentioned that mods will be a thing, but the question is, you know, to what degree are really, really, really sort of game breaking mods, almost like Project Diablo 2 or, you know, what is it, Path of Diablo? How do those fit in the grand scheme of sort of Blizzard's acceptance with mods? I know they had mentioned they were okay with mods to a point. They like the idea of mods, but they don't want it to sort of replace core gameplay. So I'm really curious to see how that functions. Like something like in Project Diablo 2 is like the doubled inventory space, so you can have your charms on the bottom, but also have them not take up your entire inventory. That's really cool. That's something that I feel like, you know, I don't have the nostalgia factor. I don't feel the need to play through the game as it was 20 years ago. I'm happy to play it with upgrades. And so if I can get an upgrade like enhanced inventory space, not, you know, beyond measure, but something like the Project Diablo 2 level where, you know, it's 2x space because you have charms, I think that's totally reasonable. Or, you know, things like that. So overall, I mean, the gameplay is extremely smooth. I wish I could have gotten farther. I just didn't have a lot of time to play through the access, and I did just want to make a quick take on it. I think the game is really great, and I think that once it comes out, it's going to be something that it's a great opportunity for people to jump into ARPGs who maybe haven't played in a while, because a lot of people grew up playing Diablo 2. I did not, but a lot of people did, and so it's a great opportunity for them to jump back in and maybe explore other games in the ARPG genre. So I think it's great. The game plays extremely smooth. Like I said, it's beautiful. If it's just like this, even when it comes out, no enhancements, no nothing, that's a win. It's still a really great game, and I highly recommend you all playing. Again, the way they've set it up compared to the Warcraft 3 disaster, they really seems like they've learned their lesson and are making solid improvements to make the game exactly the way the players want it. So hats off to Blizzard. Well done. And that's it for me in this video. Again, I know this was a different sort of video than what I usually do, but with sort of the Diablo 2 hype going around, I did just want to add in my opinion from maybe a little bit of a different perspective, somebody who again doesn't have that nostalgia factor that sort of almost the blinders on. I'm seeing the game in the current light of what it is. I don't have 10,000 hours in, but yeah. Anyway, so that is it for me. If you like this sort of video, let me know in the comments. If you hated my takes, let me know in the comments. But anyway, I will catch you guys in the next one.